What is up, guys? Sonduren Fanarredha here. Today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the 2008 Audi R8 in manual. Before we actually get in the car, we're going to take a look around the exterior, then hop in and take it for a spin. But this is the exterior of it. It was the first supercar introduced by Audi in 2008. Whole new styling design brought out by them. You guys can see here, I did lower the car from the stock magnetic ride suspension with the BC Racing coilovers, and I also got my ADV1 wheels repowder coated in this hyper shadow silver color that I've dubbed. But the car is in black. It's got the side blade as well on the car. OEM, 44,000 kilometers on the car. Had a full paint correction done, as you can see from the hood. There's not a swirl in sight. And a full paint protection film, a 3M Pro paint protection film done on the car. So the car is in immaculate condition. I'm really happy that I have it here to show you guys. I love this car. When it came out in 2008 in the Iron Man movie, that's when I first discovered it, and I kind of fell in love with the car. And 10 years later, I was able to purchase my own. So I do want to share the experience with you guys. I think to this day, it is one of the most stunning, beautiful, well-packaged supercars out in the market completely. So this is the front end of the car. I'll kind of show you guys what it's like on the side profile of the car. It's really beautiful. Again, with the iconic side blade design of this vehicle, it looks absolutely stunning. And then the rear end of the car is absolutely beautiful as well. This is the V8 version of the car, and this is a fully loaded car. So we do have the V8 here. And in 2008, it came with a whole suite of different electronic systems. It is the 6-speed gated manual transmission, rear sensors, rear view backup camera, and I'll talk about some of the other goodies on the inside in terms of the performance. It did have the magnetic ride suspension built in the car. I've removed those for these BC Racing coilovers for a whole host of reasons. One, they actually tend to fail. There's a whole video about that I'll put in the cards above in terms of the maintenance costs for this car. But overall, it has the maintenance costs of a German saloon car, not necessarily a supercar that you would normally see with a Ferrari or Lamborghini. So really impressive that it has that capability to be a daily driver, which I have a video about as well in the card above, instead of just a weekend daily or a weekend warrior that goes out there on the beautiful sunny days. And there again, the beautiful crystal clear paint. This is a 10-year-old car now with only 43,000 kilometers, and I'm really happy that I got it from an owner who had it for 10 years. He was a surgeon in Montreal, and he took really good care of it. And I was able to go ahead and continue taking care of this car and making sure it's as beautiful as the day it came out from the factory and as from the day that it was introduced by Audi. So I'm really happy about that. But we'll go ahead and get in, go ahead and unlock the car, and we'll just walk in here. Now again, as I get in the car, you're gonna notice full leather treatment, and I'll talk about some of the other options that were added on this car, and we're gonna get in. Okay. So we are in the car now. I'm gonna put in the key. We're gonna turn it on. It is a hot day, and we're gonna turn on the engine. So engine's on. We're gonna put on the AC. And let's talk about some of the stuff on the inside. So again, the big thing inside the car is the 6-speed gated manual transmission. This is a stunning, stunning performance machine, especially with this transmission. It really feels like you're loading up ammo in a bolt action gun. It's really a joy to drive this, and I'll take you guys in a spin with this car. Full leather, flat bottom racing steering wheel, which is really nice. Full leather here. Everything's pointed towards the driver in the cockpit. Leather seats, full leather up on the upholstery on the dashboard here as well. Heated seats, rear view backup camera, you can see here. Rear view backup camera, lumbar support, fully automatic and adjustable seats here. As you can see, 44,000 kilometers. I bought this car at 37,000 kilometers at the time, and it's been nothing but reliable and absolutely amazing. If you do have more questions in terms of the reliability of the car, again, I have that video linked, but I'm gonna take you guys for a spin and kind of walk you through what it's like to actually drive this car. So I picked up this car about a year and a half ago, and it's blown away all my expectations in terms of the way it makes you feel. Number one, this thing looks stunning. It is a timeless design. It has not aged whatsoever. People to this day look at this car and think it is a brand new supercar because of that beautiful timeless design. So that's really impressive there. The next piece is the overall package of this car, and I've talked about it previously, makes it for such a great driving experience. The suspension, the engine, you really got to rev out the engine in this 4.2 liter V8 to get all the power out of it. The 6-speed manual gated transmission as well. Super, super engaging with the car. You feel like you have this mechanical connection to the car, and it really, all these pieces add to the driver experience of this car. So we're gonna get out of here. Try to get out slowly out of here. There we go. All right, let's go for it. We're in first gear. All right. Now this is what I'm talking about. You hear the engine behind you just pulsing, that 4.2 liter V8 engine just ripping itself to get to that 8,000 RPM red line. And we're gonna go ahead and take it for a little bit of a rip here on some of these winding roads. And overall, the comfort of this car is outstanding for the type of performance you're getting out of it. Now, again, it's been 10 years since this car came out, and at the time, the V8 was very impressive, but now there's a lot of other cars with 420 horsepower that you can get. But you know what? I bought this car, and the point of this car is because of the overall performance. And you look at that, first gear rip, second gear in gear in second. The engine just sounds amazing. And then the gated 6-speed transmission. Oh, it just all sounds so good. Downshift to third, come here in this corner. This car is so well planted on these Michelin Pilot 4S tires that I have installed on the car. Wonderfully planted car. Now, one thing you do get, when you pick up a car like this and you drive it, you're gonna get looks from everybody. You're gonna get looks from people, from kids, they're gonna love it, they're gonna wanna talk to you, the cops are gonna be looking at you. That's one thing when you get a car like this. Whether the debate if this is a supercar or not, I think it is a supercar regardless of the engine because of the overall package. You're gonna get a lot of looks, and for the most part, I enjoy it. I love talking to people about this car, and I love educating them on it because this is my passion. This is what I love doing. Inside the car, again, really great characteristics in terms of comfort. You can daily drive this car, no problem. But at the same time, this can turn into a very fun back canyon ripper, and you'll get so much out of this thing and so many smiles. And even right now, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day to drive this car, and it makes me feel so happy that I'm privileged enough and blessed in my life that I was able to attain this and enjoy this car. And I bought this car to enjoy it and take care of it because I typically just take care of everything that I get. Let's go into third gear here. Really, the power band starts at 3,500 RPM. So we're about at 3,000 here. We're gonna come on this curve and we're gonna let it go a little bit here. And you're gonna see the power band just kick in. It just kicks in third gear. You get a lot of power coming out of third. Full Brembo brakes on this car as well, so you have that performance in terms of braking power. Never worried about that at all. And now we're in some of these back roads up top of mountain, just enjoying a beautiful day. It is really a treat to come in this car. A lot of people, when they come in the car with me and they drive, they're like, wow, it's actually really comfortable, but also very special feeling. And that's what I love inside when you sit in it. I feel like I'm in the cockpit of a fighter jet. I feel like I am at center of attention, and all the tools that are available to me are within reaching distance of my hands. And it really, if you talk about the entire package of this car, the engine is great, the suspension is great, the wheelbase is excellent. So many things that add up to this car. The magnetic ride suspension was one piece as well that make it perfect. But I think the standout feature in this car is this 6-speed manual gated transmission. It is absolutely a beauty. It just makes the entire moment with this car so much more engaging. I would not have bought this car if it didn't come with this 6-speed manual transmission. The R8 would have definitely been out of the question for me. All right, so now we just wait for some people to pass through here. Okay, now we're gonna rip it now. So first gear, almost hit that red line there. It is just impressive. This car is just so impressive. Now again, these are public roads. I'm not going to just completely slam this car out on the streets here for everyone's safety, but it is wonderful. Sight lines are excellent as well. You can see everything outside of this windshield. Left mirror, right mirror, everything's really open and accessible. The hood slopes down so you see what is right in front of you really easily. Everything's just convenient in here. It's got a frunk as well. The frunk is actually quite a lot of storage. You can take this thing grocery shopping. You can do a lot of those things that you maybe couldn't have done with any other supercar. And then you do have some storage in the back here as well, right over there. Maybe stick some golf clubs or what you have over there. In terms of what I'm going to do with the car, honestly, I've done a lot to it already, I think, in terms of maintenance and some minor changes. I'm going to keep it like this, but The one thing, if you're looking to get this type of a car, and specifically the Gen 1 Audi R8s, they have depreciated, and I think they've hit their bottom at this point. We just heard news that Audi is canceling all the future R8 production models. So this car is going to become a piece of history in terms of Audi supercar and Audi performance, and it's going to appreciate, in my opinion, in 3 to 4 years. It is such a halo car, even to this day, such a timeless design. I compare the design to other timeless designs like the 911 and the Honda S2000 and some other vehicles in that kind of category and class. And I really think they hit it out of the park with this car. Just everything just feels so great about it. And like right now, just it takes everything so effortlessly. Fully planted as well with the all-wheel drive. You can just downshift this thing, you can just let it rip, and it's not going to lose any traction. Mainly because of the tires and the all-wheel drive together do really good. And I think this car has not crazy amounts of power. It's like 700 horsepower. You can just easily lose traction on the tires. I think this car has just the right power for the tires and the all-wheel drive, which is part of that reason what makes it so great. It's that everything was perfectly put together, like a orchestra, where every musical instrument is just playing its piece to perfection and adds to the overall beauty of the score. So that's what I feel like when I'm driving this car, and I'm really blessed to have got it. This is more than enough power for me, and I'm really happy with it. Again, here we go in third gear. Let's pick it up. You hear the notes of the engine. Just a wonderful sounding engine. Third gear is my favorite gear in this car. Just hits the right band for most speeds that you're driving in on these kind of curvy roads. I really like third gear here in this car. And again, it can just be a supple ride. You know, let's say you got some groceries here, maybe you got the fiance sitting here, or you can just shift into second gear, rev up, and then just let it rip to redline. And you could just hear that beautiful orchestra in the back that is just humming along. Oh, and it just sounds so good. It sounds so great. Oh, I love this car. I love this car. I tell anyone when they're looking for this car, I tell them you have to get it in this 6-speed manual. Now, I'll probably get some people saying, but the R-Tronic is good, or the S-Tronic's even better and it's faster. But the point of this car is not about its speed. It's about the full package and how it makes you feel connected to it. Obviously, speed is nice, but it gets to a point where how much of that speed can you actually use on the streets? And I feel like, and I've had faster cars. I've driven crazy fast cars, 700 horsepower, 800 horsepower. And those are amazing. And yes, you can leverage that power in some portions and your back canyon carving, but most of the time, you know, wringing out an engine to get its power out is really fun. The Honda S2000 is a great example. 240 horsepower out of the stock 2.4 liter, I believe, but it revs to 9,000 RPM. 9,000 RPM revs. Like, that's where the fun is when you can just rev something up like that and just get all the power out of it and feel that acceleration. It's beyond just about horsepower numbers. It's how you get that power out of the car. And on a beautiful day like this, when you could look at the escarpment and you're just driving around in one of the most beautiful, timeless automobiles ever created, it just makes you feel great, and I feel really blessed. But this is how I feel when I drive this car, and this is what I hope I can bring you guys along, and what it would be like if you got your own, if you're in the, you know, in the market for one of these cars, what it's like to drive this car. And it's just a masterpiece when you're inside of this car. These things are retaining their values for obvious reason. In the market's resonating with the fact that this is truly one of the best packaged supercars that was ever made. One of, like, the only Audi supercar that was ever made. And it struck such a big piece in the market. It was iconic in the Iron Man movies. The design still to this day is timeless. And just so many things about it are spectacular. Now, there are some things on the inside where it's like, okay, you don't have the most up-to-date navigation, for example, but you can augment it with a phone that's here that can, you know, give you your navigation. And maybe it doesn't have all the greatest and latest tech features inside, but to be honest with you, you're not using this car as a daily driver most likely, and if you are, you can probably live without some of those extra technological features. Like, it's got enough for what you need. You know, like, Everything's just beautiful here. Everything's soft touch, the materials, everything's great. This is aluminum, a little bit of a, these remind me of the weights at the gym. They can give you a little bit of grip on the shifter, which is nice. And just everything in general inside just makes you feel special. And the quality of the materials, how everything's put together, is quite spectacular. It's quite something. Let's just make sure we'll go after the Civic. But build quality, yes, still spectacular. You don't get all those crazy bumps and rattles in this car, and it's been 10 years. So everything's just put together so nicely. And I'm going to be keeping this car for the rest of my life, unless something obviously really bad happens and I have to sell it for financial reasons. But my goal is to not sell this car. My goal is to keep this. If I had $1 million today and someone asked me, what car would you buy? I'd say, shit, you know what, the McLaren P1, that's a pretty sexy car, and that's like a beautiful, beautiful car, and there's so much power. Yeah, maybe I'd buy that car, but really, the car that I would want in my garage, the car that gets me up at night, the car that makes me go in my garage almost daily just to look at it, is this. And I'm not saying it just because I have it. This was the way I felt, and this was the way I felt like when I was in high school, when I seen it, that made me work so hard over the last 10 years to get to a point where I could buy something like this. So hope you guys liked the drive. I hope I kind of gave you a feel for what it's like to drive in a 2008 Audi R8 in the manual transmission. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. A lot more great videos coming out in the future. I got a lot of things coming up. And if you got any more questions, leave them in the comment box down below. I'd love to answer some of the questions on this car that you may have. And I'll see you guys in the next video.